Welcome everybody to another episode of the Floor 26 podcast. My name's Adam Duffy, and today I'm joined by not one, not two, but three wonderful guests. Today we have on Milos Collins, LilSmoke, and Reed Willy.
What up?
Did I say that right, Reed?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Just making sure.
Reed or Reed is cool.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's great to have all of you on. This is the first time we've had more than two guests on at a time, so I'm really excited to get it done. But we wanted to have you on because Milos is a good friend of the show, and you guys have been really a big part, or you guys have all been a big part of each other's careers for a while now. So I wanted to have you all on to sort of talk about that process and how it all came. So we'll start off. Milos, people should know you here already, but just sort of give yourself a little intro.
Yeah, so I'm Milos Collins. I'm I like to just say artist, but I produce, rap, sing, songwrite, a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah. LilSmoke.
LilSmoke, I'm an artist. I rap. I got my own clothing brand, Airbnb, whatever it is, you name it, I do it.
Awesome. Reed.
And I'm Reed Willy. I'm a sing-songwriter.
Awesome. So, Smoke and Reed, I first noticed you guys after sort of popping up on Milos's page, doing songs and stuff like that. So, I guess all three of you can chime in, but you two, run me through, how you met Milos, or how you guys met each other and found out that you wanted to make music together.
I know, Reed, you met Smoke first, right? Because you introduced me to him.
Yeah, I met Smoke, and I think we all pretty much linked to Mileage. Shout out Mileage.
Yeah.
We kind of all recorded with him. He's a producer, mixing engineer, mastering engineer. So we all met through him, I believe. And then I met Smoke, and then I was like, yo, let's go kick it with Milos, because Milos and I had made a song with Mileage. That's how we met. And then we all started making music together.
I remember, I think the first time all three of us linked up, y'all were at the studio with Oof, and you invited me over to like meet Smoke and recording stuff.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the first time all three of us really hung out and got in the studio and all that.
For sure, yeah. And you guys, this was like over a year ago at this point, right?
It's been a
2
minute.
years now.
Yeah, it's been a minute now.
Yeah, because I remember that first song with you and Reed a while back, and then I remember, recently you hopped on with Smoke on that one song, which I can't remember the name of it, but I remember really liking
Love for My Crew.
Love for My Crew.
Yeah. No, that was great.
All streaming platforms.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys have been making songs together for a long time, but as three sort of up and coming artists, you make songs with different people all the time. You do collabs and features and whatnot, but sort of what has made you guys, besides just the music and the artistry, what's made you guys sort of stay together as a group outside of that?
Loyalty, man.
Yeah. Facts.
Loyalty. It's just solid. So, when I meet a group of people that's on what I'm on, we just gonna rock.
Yeah, facts.
Solid.
Yeah, and I have like my setup at home, and I don't really like to invite too many people to come record. But we had a night a while back where it was a bunch of people, and this was after we started working together, like the three of us. And I remember a bunch of people came over, we were recording, and it was cool. But ever since then, like the two of them come over all the time, just because we just like get a good vibe, and we don't really have to record if we don't want to. We just chill. Kind of like how I talked to you before about like how me and VJ started recording the first time.
Yeah.
We just hang out and be like, hey, bro, you want to record? I'd be like, yeah. So that's really kind of how it started with us too. And then, after you do that for a while, a bunch of different people and stuff like that, sometimes it'd be like they come over one time and it's cool and it doesn't really happen again. But with them, it always like falls into place when we're there in person. So we just keep going back and doing it again because we don't really, we're not missing out on other stuff too much.
For sure, yeah. You've expressed to me before that you keep like a pretty tight circle, and so to be hanging out with these guys so often and making music like you do, is that an important thing?
Yeah, definitely. I don't like to. I don't know. I just people are weird, man. I don't get along with a lot of different people, so
yeah, that's
when
fair.
you find the ones that are like loyal and genuine people, then that's really all I need. I don't need a lot of friends, just good ones.
For sure. And Milos, I know a lot about your history. This being like your third time on the show, first 3-time guest. But Smoke and Reed, tell me guys about how you got started in music, and sort of how it's developed over time. Just give me, a little background?
Well, for me, it started in like 2017 when I took it serious. I lost two of my best friends in 2016, so that kind of made me want to rap. You know, it gave me a story, gave me something to talk about. So it kind of motivated me. So when I did that, it was just full-fledged from there.
For sure.
So I just been making music ever since.
Awesome. Reed?
Yeah, I started in 2017, about to. It was sophomore year of college. I had a good friend of mine. He invited me to the studio one time. He was like, "Oh, you sang some before," so I told him that. So he invited me to the studio and just recorded a hook for him, and I fell in love with it right there. So that was dope.
For sure.
Yeah, I've been doing it ever since, bro.
Yeah, I just fell in love with the process.
Yeah, it's just honestly just being in the studio, just songwriting, like that alone was amazing. And then the whole process of just like, you know, booking shows and doing promo stuff and videos and all this, like just learning it as a process. Like, you know, we're really doing the full thing right now because we have to. So
Yeah, yeah. And you know, Smoke, you were just saying that you know, what motivated you to get into music was the loss of some close friends to you. You know, if you don't mind, would you go a little deeper into that, just at least like sort of how those emotions motivated you to start making music?
Well, they kind of they were the only two people that I hung with at the time, so they were all I knew. So I felt like at the time after that happened, I felt alone, and I kind of, you know, I felt stuck. So I knew that I knew how to do one thing, which was rap. So that was kind of like an outlet for me.
For sure.
So that's what led me to that.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think
it just, you know, I dealt with a lot of death at a young age, bro. So it's just, I got a story to tell, basically.
yeah, yeah. You share that through your music.
Share it through music.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, you know, in the past like 2 years, as you guys have been making songs together and hanging out, and I've seen you guys go do shows together. I think it's weird. I think of everything as being somewhat recent, at least when I'm like on the show, but I forget that we took like a whole year off that just goes by so fast. But you guys did a show in like Alabama a while back, and maybe some more. I don't know about.
Coalition, New Music Monday.
Yeah.
Word. Was that the show in Alabama or was that a different one?
That was here in Atlanta.
Oh, for sure.
Stank on your studio.
Yeah, so I guess I'd like to hear, you know, we've heard stories of artists who have gone different states, different places to do shows and heard some interesting stories. So I'm wondering if, you know, three of you guys on the road going somewhere have had any sort of interesting tales to tell. You know, first thing that sort of pops into your head when it comes to.
First thing that pops into my head was when we went to Alabama, because we went to we did a show out there. All of us performed. It was actually the first time VJ ever performed too.
Mm.
We got him to perform.
shout out VJ.
It was lit.
Shout out VJ, man.
Facts. And then after that, we booked a session with somebody who was like local in Alabama, and it was crazy, bro.
We was in the hood, bro. We was in the hood.
Yeah.
The crowd and the performance energy was like not bad.
Yeah,
There was like no one in there, but
We made it
bad.
that way.
yeah, we made it lit though.
That's
Made
why
it
it's
that way.
like-
Before we walked in, bro, it
Yeah.
was dead.
and that's
Yeah.
a good test to be honest of like new music. I feel like, you know, you gotta test it for anybody in any crowd.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you really want to be kind of heard and, you know, most reach with your story, I feel like that's a great test. So even a small room is a good demographic to like go ahead and try it out. So
Definitely.
facts.
Gotta
Definitely.
perform the same way.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Whether it's 2 or a million people in there, you know what I mean?
yeah. You know, if 50 people will like it, there's no reason why 50,000 people won't like it. But at least if you test it on the smaller group first, then you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know beforehand. So yeah,
You got to get comfortable doing that before you're even ready to get on a big
That's true,
stage
too.
anyway. Because if you're not used to performing and
Performing.
having a presence on stage, then if you do get a big crowd, you're not gonna be ready for it. You're gonna be overwhelmed and freaked out. And
You gotta know how to breathe on stage too.
facts.
For sure. Yeah, I can imagine that. Like,
That's
sure, you
a
might.
big thing.
Yeah, you might not be afraid up there, but like you'll just run out of breath.
Run
And you're
out of
just,
breath.
I mean, you
Yeah.
got to sing, you got to move around.
Yeah.
I imagine that's difficult. So you guys, you guys are all like fairly recent when it comes to making music. Is that like a skill you've had to develop over time?
I know for me, that's been like one of the hardest things for me, because I'm a very like laid back person. I'm like chill. I'm not super outgoing and all that. So to go on stage and it's like all the lights and stuff, and everybody's staring at you. for me, that was probably the hardest thing when I was like, first started doing it. So that's definitely been a skill I've had to like work on.
Yeah, have you two found that like a thing you had to overcome?
See, I was nervous at first. I ain't gonna even lie, but you know, as I did it more, I was good because I played sports, so it's kind of like I'm always in the spotlight. You know, I was always in the spotlight, so it felt like that, but it was just a closer crowd rather.
Yeah, I feel like the same way. I was kind of used to it because I did theater growing up, and then you know I was in a lot of performing arts in college. So like I don't think I ever had like a challenge with being in front of a crowd, but what's vulnerable is you singing your music to them.
Yeah, true.
So I feel like that's a whole nother like level of like you opening up not only your craft and your art, but like what you have to say. And sometimes it's like like a low key therapy session with the crowd. And you just like, I don't know if you're gonna like talk back to me. So
100%.
Yeah, that's a weird thing for me. Like when I first started doing it too, because I was like opening up all my deepest and darkest demons in front of these people that I don't know. So that's definitely something you got to get used to. When you're performing.
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting thing because, you know, we talk about how to make the best music possible, you got to be as genuine as possible. You got to, you know, really put your problems out on the page. And, you know, that relates to performing it, like the vulnerability that associated with that. You know, people can make fake music and not have any emotional attachment to it, so they don't have any fear of that. But if you want to make the best music possible, you got to, you know, really say what your problems are, really say what you're going through. And that comes with it, like the more vulnerability up on stage.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, you guys were just saying about, you know, other shows you've done. You're talking about doing one in Atlanta. You said something.
DJ Coalition.
Yeah.
Music Monday.
New Music Monday. What was that about?
It's basically like, you know, they do this every Monday. Something they do every Monday. They let all artists sign up to come perform. They actually have like, not even just local artists, but big artists come through and they perform sometime as well. But it's a nice platform, different DJs that be at strip clubs in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
They all be there, so
good to know.
Nice place to put your music.
For sure, yeah. Smoke, can you pull the mic just a little bit closer to you and just like speak a little bit more directly? I just keep losing you a little bit. I don't want the people to hear, you know. But you know, talk more about that, I guess. You know, how important do you guys feel it is? I mean, we're talking about it, how, you know, performing your music in front of smaller crowds is a great way to, you know, develop yourself, get better at it before you're, you know, playing the stadium shows. But in terms of sort of gaining notoriety, you know, this is something we've had sort of with like our show in general, like sort of having this split between trying to gain notoriety through just having people on and developing sort of a network through that, but then also appealing to like the digital age and like marketing ourselves online and stuff like that. You know, I'd say something like playing local shows sort of feeds into that in that first one. And I was wondering what you guys think about, you know, the importance of like playing these small shows for the sake of, you know, building your name and getting, making sure people know who you are, versus, you know, really delving into social media and making sure you promote it in that sense. You know, I'm wondering what you guys think about that.
I don't want to speak for them, but I'd say, like, in my perspective, that doing like local shows, like you said, it's good for getting used to that and getting better as a performer. It's also really good because you get to expose your music to people who wouldn't hear it. So you can get a lot of new fans and followers that way. But of course, you got to always balance it because you want to also have a good online presence and know what you're doing with content wise on the internet too. So it's really, you just got to balance it. You got to do everything really, especially now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, basically what he said, you got to know how to balance it, man. You know, you can't get too wrapped up in social media. You got to be hands-on in real life. Like nowadays, people get caught up in social media. So, and that's the problem. Like you got to really be hands-on. You can't just do it for the ground.
Yeah.
You got to really put in that work and it'll show. You know what I mean? If you ain't putting it in, it's going to show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say doing the shows is most important for like gaining fans and not followers. Like, you know, I feel like when you go to a show and your first impression with someone that you've ever like been around is like you performing your music and they're like, damn, this is fire. Like I want to follow you for these live performances now because this is my first impression. So I feel like those people are way more likely to come to actual live shows.
Yeah.
And like really support
than buy a ticket.
Then like you know,
social
if someone
media
sees
person.
me online and sees a
Right.
cool video, they just like their first instinct is, okay, this is how I consume you. Or sorry, that's like
Yeah,
extreme.
yeah,
But you know,
yeah.
like this is how I interact with your content is via like Instagram. And it's like I feel if you're in person, you're gonna be so much more susceptible to keep following me in person and like you actually enjoy what I'm doing. So
And it's more genuine too, because when you're in person like that and someone really likes what they're seeing, they like the music or whatever, then they're gonna be much more of like a tapped in fan of your music because they saw you, so they feel a connection with you versus just, you know, how many random people we see on the internet every day, and they might be
Yeah.
cool, whatever, but if you actually saw them performing when they're small or at like a local place, you know, that's something that people can really latch onto.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, you put it well, Reed. You know, there's like followers and there's fans. You know, there's millions of people online, but they will only ever know you as like as a person they follow on their page. But you know, when you play in front of people, that leaves a big impact. That's
Yeah.
what music's all about.
In person, they get the real reaction.
Yeah,
And you get the real reaction as an artist. You get the real reaction. You know, they really like it. See, on Instagram, they could just be strolling and pressing like, and, you know what I mean? They
Mhm.
might not really
Yeah.
like what you're doing. But
Yeah.
in person, somebody gonna come up to you, bro, I like your music. You know, that's genuine.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
for
definitely.
sure.
And Reed, I'm curious because I've been wanting to ask you this, you know, in preparation coming on the show, but you've done work you've sort of trained yourself as like an illustrator, right? Like you've done some work in that. Mainly, I'm thinking of I think a year ago when you made the cover art for one of Milos's tracks. I remember thinking, damn, that looks really cool. And then
Manifest.
yeah, Milos just tells me, oh yeah, Reed drew it up, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. You know, talk to me about that. I guess you talked about being in like the performing arts, but
yeah.
guess you've been sampling like a lot of different avenues, huh?
Yeah, no, I went to school for that actually. Shout out SCAD,
Scat grad.
maybe. I don't know. Shout out SCAD. And I was a sequential art major, so I studied comic books and like anything to deal with visuals, storytelling. So I basically, when I started singing and recording, that's like how I translated, like that's how my brain views songwriting.
Yeah.
It's just like telling a story in a sequential format, but WAV files. So
Yep.
yeah.
That's
So
a good way to put it.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Facts.
I definitely have skill in that area too.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. You go to like Scat Atlanta mainly?
No, I was in Savannah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
and Savannah was cool, but I'm glad I came up here. So I've only been here for 3.5 years now.
Oh, word. So you're from Savannah?
No, I'm
Or-
actually from Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, 614.
Damn.
Shout out.
Okay. Okay.
614, stand up.
You came all the way
But,
here for school and then moved up to Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. So how's that journey been? I guess so. You started making music in Columbus, Ohio.
No, I didn't.
Mm.
Like I really started making music in Savannah.
Okay.
So that was like 5 years ago. Well, I guess almost coming on 6 now. And sophomore year of college, I started recording. But before that, I was always singing. Like I was trying to keep up with Chris Brown and such, and in the car.
uh-huh.
I thought I sounded good. And then you start recording, and then you're like, oh, you don't actually sound as good as you think. But that's how you you learn. So
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah, no, that I didn't record until I got to college. So
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm about to graduate from state, and I know a lot of Scat Atlanta kids. It's because I remember Milos was like I think the first person I'd ever met who even went to SCAD. And then comparing him and now you to all those people that I've met there so far, it's an interesting dynamic. It's definitely it's a very interesting environment that school generates.
that school pushes you though. That shit, like
Yeah, it
when you're
does. That's
around
what
so
I've
many
heard.
people, like you get humbled really quick.
Yeah,
So it's like
Facts.
For sure.
I think there's a lot of things that I learned from that college that wasn't academic, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
yeah.
just being around an environment like that and around a lot of creatives, like you're gonna ultimately like want to do better because you see everyone bettering themselves. So I think that was a strong foundation to have like coming into being an artist too.
Definitely, and I've felt that too going in. And I guess that idea, which is really important, of surrounding yourself with like-minded people who you feel in one part like we're all working together, we're all trying to build ourselves up, but also like if I slack off, then everyone's gonna get so far ahead of me, and that kind of drives you to work
Yeah.
hard and stuff like that. Has sort of interlocking your guys' music careers like you have, making songs together and working on tracks together. Has that you think pushed all of you guys to like a higher degree of quality?
Oh yeah, for sure. They taught me a lot with the music, bro. I ain't gonna even lie. When I first started, I was just rapping. But you know, as far as see, I don't even know the names. What's this shit? Logic and Pro Tools and all that. I just learned about all that for real.
This is out here.
Yeah, the
rap.
I'm just out here rapping.
Heat.
Yeah,
you know, they helped me learn that type of shit, bro. So
yeah, everyone's got an element of it, right? And that's sort of something I've noticed. Like, it's kind of like this like perfect trio of like this sort of balance in terms of like the kind of music you make, hip hop and rap. It's just sort of got this full scale going on. And yeah, it's good that you know, we've all been like boosting each other, learning different things from each other.
That's another thing. I think we all have overlapping talents, but we all have different talents too. So like, it's really helpful. We all have like the full package between the three of us. So it's not really too much to worry about.
Definitely. Yeah, you know, it's a good dynamic. Yeah.
Ain't nothing to worry about. We good. We good on this end.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good dynamic to have, you know, because if any of you guys were too much in the same lane, you know, it might feel like you might be stepping on someone else's shoes.
Yeah, you can also clash and stuff too. But we all have our own lane.
I also feel like if you're real and you're like an artist, because I feel like there's a lot of duos out there that like they'll sound super similar, but it helps. Like even Amigos.
That's true.
Like, you know, it's like all of them have a similar sound, but like that helps them. Yeah. So I feel like even if we did sound the same, we'd still, just from our vibes, like, we would still sound fire. But the dynamic makes it like that much more like upper echelon.
Different too.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I guess sticking with this like perfect trio kind of thing, have you guys all had tracks like with like each like pairing? Like, you know, I know Milos has had a track with both of you guys, but you know, have you all like collaborated on some sort of project, like every possible combination?
I think we have. It just not all of it's out.
Yeah. Not all of it's out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we got a shitload of music.
We locked in, bro. We got shit.
Yeah, we record all the time.
Okay, good. And I just wanted to get into that, you know, talking about sort of upcoming projects and stuff like that. You know, obviously, we had gotten to sort of a sneak preview earlier, Milos, but now that's turned into you just announced today, like officially announced today, your upcoming album coming out the day after this episode releases, coming out called Cold Summer.
Yes, sir.
And I guess, you know, talk to me a little bit. You know, I know a good bit about the making of the album already, but, you know, sort of run me through it again so that everybody else knows, and, you know, tell me how, you know, I think, well, tell me about how, you know, working with Smoke and Reed has sort of helped not only with this album, but and the work you've made ever since you started working with them.
Well, I think from working with them, how that helped with this album is like kind of giving me a better understanding of like what my lane is and what I want to do for like my own personal stuff. It's like just me. Yeah, it just helped me find I think it just helped me find my voice better too. Actually, another thing too, I didn't write anything down for this album. It was like all like freestyle or just like punching in. And I did that a little bit in the past, but I didn't really start doing that until after recording with Smoke, because that's how Smoke records pretty much everything. He just punches in. It's off the top, always. And actually, I think when the three of us started recording together, I think Reed was doing that too.
I think we all do that now.
We all do it now, but at the time, both of y'all were only punching in. I think
I literally only did that because of Smoke too. Like every other time, most of the time it was like
I was like, I'm overcomplicating this shit.
And that's what I was gonna say was before, like we were talking about how Smoke was saying he learned a lot from both of us, bro. This man, like, it's the opposite. But it's just you know, it's like a different it's like just a different viewpoint. Like he's looking at it from like, you know, the technical standpoint, and we're looking at him as like raw talent. Like, damn, that just comes naturally to him. So it's like that's something that pushes me. I'm like, damn, I gotta write better. I gotta, like, you know, the flows and stuff and how quick he is. So it's like when I saw that, I just wanted to try it and just punch in and do, you know, start punching in, and
you killing that shit.
The punching in is fun too. I can't like write like he does off the top though, but yeah, that we all learn from him.
For those that don't know, he's a real rapper.
Yeah.
He just goes in the booth and it's just off the top.
Drops a quick 16, walks out.
It's so fast. And then we're all just sitting there like, what the hell just happened, bro? It's just so good.
Quips.
It's just so fun, man.
Yeah.
Quips on quips.
And Smoke, is that something that you've like always been able to do, or do you think there's any reason as to why you're able to just riff off the top like that?
I ain't always been able to do it. I figured out how to do it for the simple fact I was learning like, okay, when we go in the studio and we pay for this time, we ain't got all day to write. So it's like you got to figure out a way around this shit. You know what I mean?
That's economic.
And then I just feel like it's more genuine when it come right off the top.
Yeah.
Because if I write some shit, that could have been from last week, and I ain't feeling like that right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So right off the top, it's just like,
Yep.
I had it. It took some work, but like I say, the more you do it, the more it's just second nature.
Yeah, practice. You ever just go off and start freestyling on stage? Just nothing.
Nah, see, I ain't no freestyler like no battle rapper freestyle like that. Nah, I can't. Nah.
Punch in professional.
If I could,
Yeah,
if I did it, if I kept doing it, I could do it. But I'm not into that. Like, nah, I ain't just gonna bust out no 16. But nah. I still got to think about shit.
His mind's fast though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Fast thinker.
So Milos, I forgot if I've told you already, but I haven't seen the full track list yet, but do you have collabs with Reed and Smoke on this album?
I have like a hidden feature from Reed on here, and that's the only thing I got in here. Yeah, he's just doing some background.
For sure.
I'll see if anyone can pick it out.
I'll be listening.
Yeah, we won't tell you what
Keep an
track.
ear out. We're not gonna tell you which song.
Damn. Okay.
Just listen for the angelic vocals.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking out for. Exactly what I was looking out
But
for.
yeah, it wasn't too much like rap heavy stuff on this project. But yeah, that's the only feature I got on there besides me.
Yeah, you've told me sort of the at least the emotional and tonal like reasonings behind the album and the reasons why it sounds like what it is, and you've talked to me about how you think this is like your most special project so far.
Yeah, I think it's my best one. I think I just been learning over the years, and with this album, it was about like a breakup and stuff like that. So that's partially kind of what he was saying about just like punching in and going off the top. You're not just like writing about something and then a week later you record it and you're not really feeling it. With this, I was just like punching in because I had so much to say and I didn't really need to write it down. So I would just start going and just kind of punch in and fix it along the way if I needed to.
For sure.
Because I just had so much on my mind. I didn't really need to write down anything.
Definitely. And Smoke and Reed, I've been listening to you guys more in the past couple of weeks, sort of in preparation for this, more so than I had in the past. And I'm wondering, what are you guys' like most recent projects and have you released any sort of longer form, EPs and albums within like the last year?
Well, me personally, I haven't. I just been dropping singles.
Yeah.
I ain't dropped no EP and then I have dropped the EP, but it was probably, I forgot what year, probably 2017, 2018. But recently I just been dropping singles. So my latest one is titled Worst Days.
Mm-hmm.
And that just basically talking about
I remember listening to that one.
My friends that passed and just
visuals are crazy.
Yeah. Video out too on YouTube. So.
Oh damn, I haven't seen the video yet. I'll have to check it out. And so I guess talking about that, this many years later, is that still a big sort of motivator for you to make music, something that still sticks with you?
Oh yeah, always, man. They always with me. They keep me going every day.
Yeah.
It's not a day that go by that I don't think about them.
Yeah, man.
So that they definitely still play a big part.
Yeah, it's a really powerful thing. It's interesting. I recently lost a friend, one of my like classmates from like a few semesters ago, and it's like one of the first sort of like people that I was actually like friends with that I've like lost in my life. Besides like old relatives and stuff like that, and it's an interesting feeling, and it sort of gives you like a lot of perspective on a lot of things. I mean, loss in general does, but something as sort of final as like death, I think really helps. Like, I mean, for the first part, it wasn't really constructive because I would like do my daily routine and I'd be like, what's the point of all this? Like it's like it would just kind of outshine everything else, or it would cast everything else in like a shadow and stuff like that. But as time goes on, it makes me think. It sort of helps me. I think it helps me realize, like, appreciate certain things. It helps me almost be more motivated to work on the projects I'm working on because of it. And so I can definitely agree that it's a very like powerful motivator.
Yes, sir. You're just thankful for the times you hear.
Yeah.
Because it can be gone like that. So
yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then Reed, I was listening to a recent one of your songs too. I forgot what it was called. But I was just shuffling in the car earlier. But tell me about, recent projects you've made as well, and sort of, if anything's sort of been different in this recent year since you guys have been really tapping in.
I've been dropping all singles this year. I dropped a little 2-piece earlier. I think it was around like February or March. This year flew by.
Yeah, Ted, Jesus Christ, we're already.
That's why I'm like, it's almost December already.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dropped singles this year. I don't have a project coming up. I'm just gonna be set on singles right now. I feel like that's, I don't know, just trying to get as much out of my bang for the buck. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, you just gotta flood everything for one song at a time because you never know what's gonna pop. But if you don't throw it out there, your line's not even in the water. So,
for sure.
You got it, every time. So I think I'm gonna definitely drop a lot of singles. I got one coming out this Friday. Little one, I don't want to say much about it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Bro, Milos' project is crazy because I'm like, when he played it for me, I was like, oh, I know, I got to step up my game. Like when you were saying, how we bounce off each other.
He going nuts.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, like the arrangements, everything, like he really tapped in. So
yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
You said you got a single coming out on Friday?
Yeah. I do.
Is that like public knowledge or?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
I must not have catch up. What's it going to be called?
Oh, it's called Never Steer Wrong. It's a little one. I'm just dropping them consistent,
Yeah.
Just trying to put some music out, and it's like every time. I just dropped recently our first, I think all 3 songs, right?
Yeah, it's the first song that all 3 of us was on. The Love for My Crew song.
Love for My Crew. That's the one. Man, I've been waiting to drop that one for a while. So
yeah, we had that in the vault for a minute.
That's a trifecta.
Crazy.
Right really?
Yeah. So I love that track. And right now it's just a matter of like, we all students of this game. So, Russ always be saying like consistency is key, and he's stuck to that to this day. And it's like, bro, like you don't know, he doesn't know what's gonna pop. He's throwing so much out there that it's like, he probably has inklings, but because he floods the market with his music, like he'll get pops, and he can like really capitalize on that. So I think it's a formula that works, and I'm gonna try it because
it's hard to really call it too. It's hard to call it too because like it's happened to me so many times where I'll do like a EP or a project or something, and I'll have a handful of songs in there that are my favorite. I'm like, yo, these are out of here, and then some other random song that's just like a one-off kind of weird song for like what I usually put out, that'll go crazy. And I would never have expected it. So it goes to what he's saying that, you just got to keep flooding it, and you don't know, you can't really know ahead of time. It's impossible.
Yeah, man. I think both the avenues are equally as like credible, just because there's benefits and negatives to both. I see a lot of up and coming artists, a lot of the ones we've had on the show, sort of follow that path of putting out like consistent singles, just so they can sort of focus on this one piece and then put it out and sort of move on to the next. And every time they get better and better. And putting out singles, you're able to sort of feel it out better. You put one out, see how it is. You see sort of feedback from people, and you keep going from there. With like focusing on like putting out fewer but longer sort of projects. There's a lot of benefit there. There's like and I think it all comes with like obviously the attitude of like the 3 of you guys, but also like I think the genre, I guess, or like the tone of the music can also impact that. And so there's definitely benefits to both. And people getting success from both avenues. So no, it's super exciting. And I guess I forgot to ask, but Smoke, you got anything coming out soon? It seems like everybody.
If I do, trust me, it's just gonna be like I'm gonna just pop it on you.
Yeah, right. You're just gonna wake up one morning.
That's just how I move, follow, bro. I don't really like planning this shit. I just like popping out.
Yeah. So I guess I'm curious, and I guess we've touched on this before, but I meant to, as a question I was thinking of in preparation for this. But I guess after spending almost 2 years in the studio together, what's I guess from everybody, what's one thing about someone else in the group who you like is like a skill that they have or something that they do in the studio that's like that you really respect? Like talk about Smoke's just able to riff it off and how you guys have learned from that. But is there like anything else that you guys have all like single like pieces of nuggets of information that you've gained from each other that you really sort of hold on to?
I'll say, like we already talked about, how he can punch in and just write crazy bars off the top of his head like it's nothing. And then with Reed, I've always been, and I know actually the first time me and Reed recorded, VJ was there, and I did my part on the song, and then Reed was recording after me. And I remember me and VJ sitting on the couch, because this man is a real singer, and his vocals are crazy, and he's got so much like power, so it's really loud when he's recording.
Nice.
And I remember me and VJ,
Neighbors don't like it.
we were sitting back chilling on the couch, and this man was recording his vocals, and it was the first time we ever heard him. And me and like heard him in person. I remember me and VJ are sitting there on the couch, just like looking at each other, like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I get
like,
loud
what
too.
What the hell? Because it was
They were
just
probably
so
like, "Oh."
impressive, bro. It's crazy.
He's got like a set of pipes, right?
He's got pipes, bro, for real.
In the studio, he's recording down in at your place, right?
The first time that me and him recorded, it was at Miles' place. It was actually at their old apartment.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I know. I keep hearing. I guess actually we'll keep going with this question. Smoke, is there anything that you've picked up from the two of them that we haven't already talked about that you've like has really helped you as an artist?
Quality sound, bro.
Yeah.
Like everything they do is quality sound, bro. Like they ain't letting shit fly by that don't sound good. I'm telling you now, like you be in that bitch recording all day. See me, I be in that bitch like, all right, bro, let's go. Like, nah, let me see. Nah, bro, we gonna take that out.
Yeah.
Just patience for real. Like I learned patience.
Definitely.
Music, so
Yeah.
Just getting better, bro. He can sing, so
This man
I be
can
trying
sing,
to
bro.
sing,
I
you know
swear,
what I'm
I
saying?
swear he can.
Nah, that's
one
with
day
some
he's gonna
auto
pop
tune,
out with
bro.
some. One day he's gonna pop out with
With that auto tune
R&B
on,
song
yeah.
of the century.
I can't wait to hear it. Reed, anything you picked up from Milos or Smoke?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both of them. It's like I think Milos has like he's got such a producer, artist mesh that it's like he's already created his own sound because he's been hands on the whole time. So it's like I think that's dope. That it's like every time you listen to a project, you listen to like you want to start it from start to finish. Like so I like how it moves through and everything. And I mean, yeah, Smoke is just like that's the workout. Like, when I'm in the studio with him, it's like I gotta keep up. I gotta get my mind sharp, and I also gotta like be quick about it because he's just so into it. So yeah, I feel like, and I mean, there's so many different things. So it's just like being around any artist, and that's why I would say Drake's the best because he can adapt the best. Like he's able to pick up like things from all these artists that he works with because he works with so many artists.
Yeah.
He becomes just an amalgamation of just like everything.
That's
so
a
it's like
that's a good way to put it.
the more we work even together and grow together, but not only that, but like start working with other artists, as I know we will soon. It's like we're gonna bring that information back here and then share it with each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it's always good to be tapped in with the crew.
Yeah, it's like you three are like they're bigger than the sum of your parts. Like you're not just all three together. You're all three together, and that adds more by like on its own and stuff like that. Like you're talking about Smoke. Making sure that like the sound is good and like the production is like solid and stuff like that. That's super important for like up and coming artists and just making music in general. Obviously, me and Parsa always felt that when we were making this show that like we wanted to start a podcast. We had all these ideas like we want to talk to different artists about their process and stuff like that. But at the very least, even if we suck at it first, or if we're just not good at this, at the very least, it has to like look good. It has to like be like a product that can at least that someone won't immediately turn off. And so that's really important. Just making sure it's all like you could look back at a song and be like, oh man, I don't think I was like doing this like the best or something like that. But as long as it like sounds good, as long as the product is clean, that's a really important aspect.
It takes you serious like that too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
like you want it to sound professional. That's something I picked up on like a while back because I think when I first started, I was way better as an artist than I was a producer, and I would make these really great songs, but the production quality, the mixing and mastering, all that, just like the engineering overall wasn't there. So then I like go back and listen to some stuff now, and I'm like, man, that song was so good. If I had a better understanding of engineering back then, the song would have done so much better.
Yeah.
So just having that, and then you get to a point where you're like, okay, now it doesn't matter what the song is, because sometimes you'll be recording, right? You have a group of songs, you're like trying to figure out which ones you want to drop, what are the best ones, and then you'll just be like, okay, whichever ones I pick, then I'm gonna go back and make sure they sound professional. But if you just do that with everything, then your overall production quality and professionalism, how it sounds, is just going to be so much better because it's just going to be more consistent. And it's just always there.
Definitely. Yeah, we tried our best to do it with this right here. You know, we tried to shell out for the best equipment we could, and although we are in this basement here, we tried to make it at least.
Hey man, you got this
no,
right
we
here.
on floor 26.
I need that right there.
I'm in no basement.
Yeah, we floor 26.
Yeah, I mean, this could be.
26,
This is we're in a high rise right now. We're on the.
You trying to throw them off right
bro.
now? Say we're in a basement.
All right, we on the top floor right now, bro.
Exactly. You guys are in downtown Atlanta right now. You guys had to go through. You guys had a 3-minute elevator ride up to the top.
26th floor.
Security metal detectors.
Exactly. No, but yeah, definitely. You know, production quality is a huge aspect of all this. And I guess, you know, I'm always curious to talk to like artists, especially up and comers, and talk to them about how they look back at their first projects. You know, you sort of mentioned it, how you look back at some projects, and while the lyrical, you know, aspect might be there, you know, like other elements of it, you kind of look back and say, ah, man, I wish I could do that. I see that every day, because we have this will be episode 53. We have all 53 episodes of the show on our page, and I go back to like our first 10, and man, like I just can't, I can't get through it. And that's why I always tell people whenever I explain to them that I have this show, I say, start at like 26, like go from there and keep going, because that's when we really not only get better like on the mic, but also just it starts to look better.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious from, you know, Smoke and Reed, if you guys you know, looking back at like the first projects you made back in 2017, if you look back at those and you know, you look back at those and just like immediately sort of like cringe at them, or if you look back, and I've heard this sentiment a lot from a lot of different artists about looking back at your old projects and sort of understanding that that's like it's like an important part of like the growth.
Bro, my first EP, I ain't make shit on that motherfucker. But I love it though. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like lyrically what I was talking about, I love it. But like as far as the production and all that, nah, that shit was ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could have did way better. But like I said, I ain't really know shit. Like I was just rapping, bro.
Yeah,
so
you can't
found
expect
the beat, put that motherfucker on. Hey, this how I put the song out. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I probably don't even think I paid the producer, bro. Yeah, what it is, bro.
It is what it is. That's in the past. And you know, and like that, if that was a necessary piece to get you where you are right now, then it was all worth it, right?
Oh yeah, bro. I learned. So definitely, I appreciate going through that shit.
Yeah. I look back at mine too and feel the same thing. But Reed, you're talking about the first time you did a feature on a song and stuff like that. Yeah. Were you from the gate, like right off the bat, the pipes were working, or?
Nah. I feel like the bass was there, but I like didn't have the technique, and I didn't do it enough. Like that's what I found is I've only gotten better because of how much I do it. Like so, which is the same with anything, but especially with my singing. So, and the repetitiveness of hearing yourself too is mad important, because I could be belting in my car and thinking I'm killing it, but there's something about hearing your voice in the mic where it's like, oh, you have to laser hit that thing. So for me, that it's made me respect a lot of artists more, and honestly, like recording made me enjoy music more. So no, I mean, I don't even know what the question was.
No,
okay,
that
I just
works.
went off, but yeah,
that was good. That was good. Yeah, and I feel the same thing. Obviously, I'm not singing my heart out into these, but over time I have had to sort of adapt the way I speak just to come across better and stuff like that. So I definitely get that it's you don't even need to like necessarily learn some of these things from other people. Like it's almost internal. Like it just gets better as you sort of self-critique yourself.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's just like you have to start so you know what you're doing better. Yeah. Because if you start like you can't be looking at anything else, because that's not, you know, it's like that's not what you want to build anyways. It's like you want to build this. So whatever you start doing, it's like you at least have a baseline, and it's like you can self-critique. You don't need no one else.
Yeah. I feel like a lot
it helps. You don't need no one.
I feel like a lot of like potential artists sometimes get discouraged because they feel like well, they might have this talent, they might have this passion, like the road's too bumpy at first. It starts off and like they don't like how it sounds, and they they get discouraged and stuff like that. Maybe, and if that hurdle sort of prevented us from having amazing music out in the world today, we would never know. And so I guess like, was that something that all you had to overcome was like knowing that as long as you kept working at it and kept trying your best, that you would only get better from there.
They won't have no choice but to like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like you say, you can make them a believer. They ain't gonna believe you in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta believe in yourself, bro. And that's the only way somebody else gonna believe in you.
Yeah, damn straight. Yeah, and I guess another point I'm curious about, Reed, you were talking about, in the future working with more artists and stuff like that. And I'm curious, and this goes back into our element of talking about, you guys doing local shows and stuff like that. But outside of you three and Mileage, who's been great at helping produce all your music, or most of your music, have you guys been able to sort of network really well with other artists in your sphere and sort of use them as another way to better yourselves?
Yeah, I think we have a lot, and that's a good thing about having a group too. Like that is just everyone's always ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like the two of them, all three of us are always ready. So like, if I see an event and I don't have anybody to go with, right? It'd be kind of weird sometimes. I try to go networking and stuff. I'm just by myself.
Yeah.
If I pull up with them, then it's chill, and we can all network, and we'll all bump into different people when we're there. So it's nice always having that.
I feel like what was important too was how before we met, it's like we were all established individually. Like
too, yeah.
it's like we were already solid artists and knew what we wanted before we met. Yeah. So we all have our sphere of like making music and our process of doing it, but in that we can share pieces of those. So it's like Milos's, we recorded at his place all the time, which is like a blessing. But then I have connections with Mileage, and then my engineer Oof, shout out Oof at D3 Studios.
Sure.
He's been recording me for like pretty much the whole time I've been in Atlanta. But every time he pulls up or I pull up with them, good people, it's like good energy, and we always make hits in that studio, bro.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bro, I think we all have resources that we pull together, which is fire.
That's what we made Love for My Crew with. He was the one engineer in that.
Oh,
shout out Joey Diesel Beats on the beat.
That beat's hard.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I thought the production on that song was really good. Tell me about, you said it was Oof, his name?
Oof, yeah.
Okay, word. So, you knew him first? Like you're the one who had the connection?
I had recorded with him. We met at Death Star Studios. We were both interning there because, trying to just like at least, figure out what it's like to be around other artists, but then also like different creatives, people who really just wanted to be engineers and such. So we met over there and we started recording that first year. So yeah, about 2.5 years ago. And bro, every time we in the studio together, it's just like I said, good vibes, which produces the best music.
Yeah, definitely have to be sort of comfortable in that environment.
Yeah.
And I guess more on that, starting out, and we might have touched on this already a little bit, but were you guys like immediately sort of comfortable recording, or has it been a thing where you've gotten better at that over time, at like learning each other's processes in the studio and overall being more open to having them in the room while you riff off on a beat?
I know for me that I've done most of my recording by myself, so I get a little in my head when I'm recording in front of other people, but I was initially already pretty comfortable recording around them, and then just over time you just get more and more comfortable to now where it's completely chill and it doesn't stress me out. But at first it did a little bit, but yeah, it's just getting more comfortable, and as we've gotten closer and stuff too, then I'm not really worried about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, when you're like, I feel like at first recording you had to be timid because it's like the first time you ever hearing your voice back for real. It's like, even right now, I'm going to hear this podcast back and be like,
it's definitely different hearing ourselves talking too, versus like singing or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, for real, like I barely talk in a mic. I sing only. And it's a completely different voice. So like for me, when I started singing, it was just new to me. And then it's like kind of like an internal struggle. You're just like, you got to accept your voice at some point. It's like, because this isn't changing. And I mean, you can adapt it or whatever, but
you can also figure out how to work with it too.
Yeah, exactly.
You figure out what what you're good at, what tools you got, and then all right, how do I make these work for me?
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone's gonna sound different. You know, we all different instruments. So when I started like really getting comfortable is when I really started getting comfortable with myself. You know, it's like or singing in front of other people. I started to get confident with myself. So I feel like that was like important because that also is the first stages of performing in front of people. It's like if you can record in front of a room or in a room full of people,
Yeah.
that's the most vulnerable for real compared to like performing, because when you in there, it's like I know I sound like shit half the time for real. Like some of that, you know, I have to correct, or at least me, I'm like, Smoke knows, and that's where he learned some of this, was that I got to record stuff like 10, 12 times, bro. Because I'm like, nah, it's not there. It's not there. It's not there. That's why I'm like, bro, when I hear something Smoke, I know every time he's like, bro, I do not want to do this again. But I was like, bro, you got to re-record that line. Like everything's so fire, but like just re-record one line.
Record it.
And it's because it's like, bro, we're recording. This time you can do whatever, bro.
Yeah. This
Every time I re-record it, that shit sound even better. Just listen, man.
Bro, Love for My Crew out now streaming.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so.
And it's permanent once it comes out. So
yeah,
you know, edit as much as you want before it comes out. Because if you hear something later, it's too late.
Yeah. Once you're performing it on stage, you can't change it then.
Yeah.
You do all the changes in the back, and that's an important thing at the very least is, you know, to have like friends who are like can be brutally honest with you, who aren't just like unconditionally supportive and like some yes men at some points. Like having someone who can say, Reed, that didn't sound good, man. You gotta
being constructive. It's like
that ain't it, bro.
It's me like I know you could do better than that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And
it's like you're bigging up your homies, really.
Yeah, you know, that's super important. Just being honest with the people around you, especially like in a context like that. Because it not only is it good for them, but it's also like good for you. Because if you don't sort of approach those things in the moment, like in the studio, you don't say, hey, we should record this. Hey, I think we should add this or change this. If you don't do that, then song maybe won't perform as well. Then if you guys are all like trying to, you know, come up together, then you know it's hampering the whole team, and so it's super important. Yeah.
Another thing is we all value each other's opinions too. So, and we know that if we're in the studio and one of us is like giving someone else advice on something, or hey, you should try like this or do that, we're gonna try it because we trust each other enough, and we know that we all have good ears for music and stuff. So, because you know it goes wrong when like it's someone who maybe someone could take it wrong if they don't like respect the opinion of this other person, or they think they got ulterior motives or something like that.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So the fact that we're just like close and respect each other, that no one's gonna take it personally. If I'm like, hey, you should redo that line, do like this, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
I'll be like, all right, let me try it.
Yeah. You gotta have a good relation to that person to make sure criticism doesn't like come off and sort of grate that relationship. You guys never had a problem with that? Always been like sort of been able to
never
had a problem with that.
Yeah.
Well, I think like when we came together first, it wasn't even about making music. Like we literally we linked up and we were just like, yo, let's like try to help each other with the business side of shit.
Yeah.
Like we were just like, yo, I literally brought over dry erase boards. Like we set up, posted in the basement, and we just like, yo, let's go ahead.
What ideas we got?
Like let's lay out things for us.
And then we're like, how
individually though. Like that's the thing. It was all individual. But now, like since we went through that process, like we know, like Milos was saying, we just value each other's opinion. So it's like I'm gonna try whatever you say. And most of the time, I also like what you're saying too. So it's like, oh yeah, of course I'm gonna try that.
Yeah.
And it works too, because I feel like most of the time one of us makes a suggestion, we're in the studio and they try it, most of the time works and sounds better. So we're always down to like do that because it usually always works.
Yeah, it's good advice.
Yeah, definitely. And that works because you guys have, you have your own individual styles, but they overlap in a way that allows you to provide advice that adds to each other's
we have
music.
different perspectives and stuff too.
Yeah, you're just attacking the same problem from 3 different perspectives, and through that, you get a much better product on the end. Yeah, I mean, I can feel that too. Like, what you were saying, Reed, about, going into it with, just business and stuff, just being friends in general, and then going into that, like the music where you need to be more critical, and how the relationship you built before helped you in the studio to work more efficiently. I run the newspaper at my college, and I recently brought on a friend of mine who I'd been friends with for a year before then, and we've been had this great relationship, and bringing them on as like my second my like right hand man. I feel that exact same thing. Like opinions they give and criticisms they give, like I take it all like constructively and take it like, yeah, that is a good idea, you know. And even if he would say the same things, but we didn't have the same kind of relationship, just because we all have that natural feeling of when you receive a critique, you sort of like you can receive it with like ill intent. You think like maybe they think it's not good, but so we could be saying the same things, but if we didn't have a relationship, then I wouldn't take it the same way. And so that's a super important aspect.
I used to see that at SCAT all the time during critiques, people getting broken down.
Oh my goodness.
So they never heard anyone say anything negative about their work before, or try to give them helpful, constructive criticism. But
Hey, homeboy gas him up all the time.
Yeah.
That is not your homeboy.
Oh, and that shit trash, boy.
Yeah, you gotta be honest with them, because that makes for the best friends. And I see that to an extent at school too. You know, I'm a film major, and so we make projects throughout the semester, and we sit through critiques and stuff like that. And some people just have never had someone say a bad word about their shit. Because as soon as somebody just says, well, I think that, it just like they get super defensive, they shut down, they get quiet, and it's like, that's not how you grow. It's not how you get better.
Yeah, you got to go through that though. So it's like some people have different thresholds, baseline. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like that's one of the things from SCAD that I think I'm thankful about, because it's like when you learn that so much, it's like, all right, well, now I understand that it's not an emotional thing. They're literally just telling me from their perspective, this is what I would change. And it's like when you got two minds on one thing, the product is bound to be better. So it's like, you know, I'm not gonna say that I don't have those times of like, no, I'm not changing shit. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I love, also if my love for it trumps what you think, then I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna try it.
That's something too. You always gotta take it with a grain of salt too.
You gotta know that you can use it.
Don't get like pushed over.
I mean, if you got like, I think it's about like your confidence too. If you really believe in something you're doing and someone's like trying to give you like a certain advice on it, you don't have to agree either. Take it with a grain of salt, it's fine. Yeah.
As long as you're open, you're honest, you're not you know, doing something you don't want to because someone's telling you to do it, and you're not like pushing back just because they said something about it. Like having that good relationship is super important. I mean, I've felt that with not only at school, you know, critiques on my own projects. I felt it with this podcast. I felt it, you know, with the newspaper, any sort of creative endeavor. You got to learn that. And, you know, like you guys were talking, like Reed, you were talking about with having like multiple minds attacking the subject, you know, especially with something like music. You know, it's a very human thing, music. It's like the only, it's like one of the only things like unique to people that, you know, we're able to do this. And it's a beautiful art form. And, you know, humans in general and people in general, you know, we can't do things alone. Like we can't, like, you know, people aren't meant to be alone, like in like every sense of the word. And so I think for something like music, that principle applies to that. For something like music, which is very integral to us as people, you need multiple minds looking at the same thing, because without it, it'll just sort of fall away.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Yeah. Definitely. That's the takeaway at the very least.
Thanks.
But I'm curious, guys, and you know, guys, I'll talk about mileage, and you know, you talked about mileage before. First time you came on, which is, you know, coming on almost 2 years ago.
Crazy.
And you know, I always hear about him, but I never gotten the chance to talk to him in person. I guess talk to me about, you know, how you guys all have worked with him in the past, and sort of what he brings as like a producer that you guys really value, that keeps you coming back.
I met him at SCAD. We were on a lacrosse team together.
Yeah, I do remember you telling me that.
And back then, we were just like, we would send each other demos and stuff like that. And we were both still trying to get better. But we would send each other demos and give each other advice and stuff like that. And then I don't even know when the first time I recorded with him was. It was probably here in Atlanta. But then we started making a bunch of stuff, and he was living with Reed at the time. I don't know. He's really like professional about what he does. You know, he's got the mixing locked in and all that, and the beats. He's always had like a great setup, and I think he's just super professional and like to the point. And he knows like what his responsibility is. He gets done. Yeah,
definitely. That's a super huge part.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. That man.
Yeah.
That man. He put in the work, and he's produced for a lot of big artists in Atlanta. So shout out Mileage.
What I like about Mileage, he give you feedback First time I recorded with him, he gave me feedback. You know what I'm saying? He like,
Facts.
nah, bro. Like, step up to the mic. You know what I mean? Like you saying, you know, some you might feel like you doing right. Like, nah,
Yeah.
bro, step up. You ain't loud enough. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get a lot of engineers, they don't really care. They just there for the money.
Yeah, they're,
You know what I mean?
they get paid the same whether or not they
Right.
give you critiques or not.
Like they say he
Yeah.
passionate about it. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
a,
I like Mileage, man.
yeah,
That's
super
my
huge
guy,
part.
man.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah,
out
he-
to Mileage.
yeah. I
He
mean,
enjoys making music.
yeah, I'll have to have him on the show. He seems like a super interesting guy.
Good
Um,
energy.
He's in LA now.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Like permanently?
Bring him out.
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy. Never mind. I mean,
No. Bring him out. Here.
Could happen one day.
Yeah.
Bring him
I'm
out.
sure he'll be back in the A sometime.
Yeah.
I guess bring him up. You're the 26th floor.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, put him on. You gotta go through security.
Or
Bring
26.
him upstairs.
Yeah,
Concierge and all that.
Exactly. We'll have the limo go pick him up. But
Sure.
and you know, something you said sort of made me want to ask this question. I've asked this to all of sort of the new artists we've had on. You know, being sort of with the mission of like talking to artists in Atlanta and talking about that scene in general. And you know, I'm curious with the three of you guys, you know, playing these local shows and you know, networking online and stuff like that. Have you really been able to tap into that sort of underground Atlanta scene? You know, just full of artists, all trying to sort of get better through each other and that sort of environment. And I guess like, can you speak to that and sort of what's sort of unique about being here?
Everybody hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody hustlers. You know what I mean? Everybody wants something. You know what I mean? It's crazy because everybody feel like they're a star, which is like, bro, you're not nobody. Bro. But it's a good, you know, good confidence. So
Yeah.
it's just like Atlanta is really that scene for the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you say, everybody want to rap. Then you got all these different open mics and a lot of celebrities live out here, so they be sliding through the events and so yeah, Atlanta that place, man.
Yeah.
You never know like the next artist you're gonna run into that like might inspire you too. On the other side of it, like just on like, for me when I went to that show with Smoke, what was it?
New Music Monday.
Yeah, on the New Music Monday. I just learned so much about performance too. Like some of those people up there just like really knew how to work a stage, and it's like, you know, I've been on stage and I'm comfortable with it, but I don't think I've mastered it by any means. So it's like seeing how other people work the stage, I think is super important too.
Yeah, it's whatever from a lot of artists that, you know, performing on stage is you know, part making sure that the music you put up there is good and that all happens in the back, making sure that one, you can perform it, but also like there's another element of it that's like unique to the live performance of you know, working the crowd and making sure that you know, they're really engaged, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
you know, you guys attest to knowing that that's like an important element of performing on stage.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely have to have that's like another skill you gotta develop. You have to know how to be able to get the crowd engaged, because you know, people on the phones not paying attention. They never heard of you before, so why would they care?
Yeah.
So you got to make them care. You got to get them into it and know how to talk to people while you're on stage and get them interested.
Yeah.
People
Definitely.
got short attention span nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
So you got to keep them entertained.
Yeah.
You'll find that out quick while you're on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ooh.
You standing in that one spot and just like,
Yeah.
nah,
No
you got to
one's
move
moving.
around.
No one's moving.
Yeah, that must be
You know what I'm
brutal.
saying? You got to move around that motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine, honestly, like coming from a place of not making music, getting up on stage, and like honestly, like I can, when it comes, and I speak in front of people a lot, so like that's like part of the equation, but I mainly like sort of get into my own head when I do that, where I'm just like, I'm performing for myself, like speaking for myself, and I'm just critiquing my performance. I don't care about what they're saying, but in a concert and in a live show, you know, you can tell pretty easily if the crowd's not into it, because you can
Yeah.
see them. Like when I'm talking like
See
a
their face.
when I'm talking like a room full of people, you know, they're all just like sitting there and listening to me, and so
Right.
like, it's like I
It's
don't know
like-
what they're
it's like
thinking.
the same reaction either way.
Right. You don't know what they
In that
thinking.
environment.
And if that reaction, and you're doing like a live show that's supposed to be exciting, that I can't
bad.
imagine. I can't imagine. Yeah, and I've been to concerts before where like, you know, the first 3 opening acts, everyone's just like moving
Yeah.
back and forth to the songs with their
Mhm.
phone, and I just like from the audience, I'm trying to get engaged because that's what I came here to do. And honestly, like I look up at the performer and I'm like, that's brave.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
tough.
Performance is like, sorry to cut you off. The performance is like 40% of it, but like 60% of it is the music too, bro.
Uh-huh.
Because like I'm telling you, when you play, sometimes like learning that is mad important for like being engaged with your audience, building an audience, building fans, and people that like respect you as an artist, not just like a recording artist, which is fine. But like when you're up there, I don't know what I was saying, to be honest. My fault.
I think you got to have a balance too, because I remember recently the three of us went to this show, and it was like this one person who came on stage, right? And she was talking, and like as like an MC and like an entertainer, her stage presence was like amazing. It was so good.
Yeah.
She was so entertaining, and then the music was just not there.
That shit was funny,
Yeah,
bro.
And I was like, I remember before she came on, I was like,
That shit was.
there's no way that she is this charismatic and good at like stage presence, and her music's good too. I was like, she would be somewhere else right now.
Yeah,
She should
yeah.
have hosted that shit.
There has to be.
Yeah.
That's why I thought she was the host.
Yeah,
So you gotta
you
do
gotta have that
everything
music.
really.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying was. Now I remember I was saying that the music has to be there, but like because
Yeah.
like or if the music is there, it'll grab their attention. So
Yeah.
it's like
That's not optional.
that shit.
Yeah,
that shit-
exactly,
it'll be like,
exactly.
who is this? And then you know. So,
Yeah.
but the opposite will happen if you're like, damn, who is this? And it's like you get off the phone, blah blah blah, and then the music's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but right back on their phone. Like, so
yeah.
it's like you got to keep them there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my fault.
No, that's cool. That's cool. And that's definitely it, you know, like, cause if you have a good stage presence, but your music's not there, that like you said, like the audience isn't going to engage with it. They might pay attention because you're being loud and you're being, and you're like being attention grabbing, but if you start playing music they don't vibe with, then they're immediately going to shut off. And you know, if you, like we're saying, make that music professional sounding and you make sure you're building your craft over time, you know, that'll stay constant. You won't get magically worse at making music over time.
Right.
And it's much harder to, if you have this sound and it's not like working, it's much more difficult to build off of that than it is to get better at performing on stage. Because performing on stage, you know, you'll know real quick if what you're doing is not working based on the reaction, and just like exposure therapy, being exposed to that over and over again, you'll get better at it. But so yeah, the music is definitely like the prerequisite. It's the first thing that has to be there.
Yeah,
Sure.
Music gotta be there, bro.
It is.
It's definitely there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're gonna last for a long time.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of people that come out now, they had a moment and they gone.
Yeah.
That ain't what. Nah, we ain't on that.
A lot of people aren't really into it like that.
We ain't on
Like-
that.
They're not really that passionate about it. It's
Yeah.
just trying to get some money or something. So that's why they fizzle out real quick.
Yeah. It's not a race, it's a marathon, right?
Yeah. Word to Nipsey.
Yeah,
I picked you up,
I
man.
plucked that from Big
picked you up.
Dog. But yeah, and I guess, you know, just we can sort of start to wrap up, but I guess more on that, you know, the making sure that you stay consistent, but you also stay like tapped in and you stay passionate about it and you keep doing it, because not only can people get discouraged at the very beginning when they haven't really developed their sound, but even when, you know, they feel like, you know, they have like a good sound and they're you know, constantly building upon each other, that can be a long road. That can be a really long road. And
Yeah.
and
That's why it matters why you start. Like, what's your reason for doing it in the first place?
Yeah.
And I think, like the three of us, for example, we have genuine, real reasons why we do music. So, like, I know for myself, for example, I'll be making music the rest of my life.
Yeah.
For sure. It doesn't matter if I never become like a big artist or whatever. I'm still gonna always record, because it's just like a part of me now. It's like, you know, it's my passion in life. So a lot of people who are falling off, or, you know, it gets bumpy in the beginning and then they quit. Well, that's because they weren't in it for the right reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's the mentality. That mentality right there is the mentality of all the big artists. They're the ones who they've succeeded because they had that same thought process. So you got to stay attached to that, and then just let the blessings come to you.
Yeah, it's not like an optional thing. Like, okay, it's tough. I just got to figure it out, because that's my only option.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna stop doing this shit.
Yeah, that's a different road.
Yeah.
You're down a different path.
And when you're that
We're
locked in with it,
we're in
then
our own lane. Yeah.
yeah, when you're that committed to it and that locked in, like, those road bumps in any time, they seem a lot smaller when you know how long the road really is, versus someone else who's just getting into it. They don't know if they want to keep doing it, and then if it's hard, like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this now.
Yeah, they see the exit, looks really attractive,
Yeah,
then they
they're
take
like,
it.
you know, I'll try something else.
And that's maybe the most important thing when it comes to any artistry. It's dedication. It's because you know, we as people were really good at getting better at things over time, and you know, I'm sure you guys can all attest to that, getting better over time, just by running it through over and over again. But and I always tell this actually to people I hire at the newspaper, or people I interact with in general in creative projects. It's whenever someone's gonna talk to me like, oh, I know how to do this, I know how to do this. I always tell them like, that's great. I don't really care what you know. I care how much you want to know, because I can always teach you how to do this, how to write an article, how to be a journalist, how to be a photographer. But I can't teach you to care about that. I can't teach you to want that. And so you could come in with all these skills and that's great, but if it's not there, then I know you're not going to stick around for a long time. And so it's that dedication that's the most important thing.
I think that's an underlying thing for me too when I decide to like record with somebody, because I also record with people that have never put out their own music before or even like tried it, but they've always played an instrument their whole life. Like some of my friends who like play the guitar, like my boy Tanner or Ryan, they've been playing guitar like forever, and they didn't go into it with the intention of like, I want to be Drake, or whatever. Yeah. They did it because they love playing the guitar. And then that's why I like recording with them, because that's where you get the best music. So,
yeah, when you aspire to be, like somebody big, like a Drake, like any of the Migos, you shouldn't look at it as, oh, I want to be them or I want to be like them. It's I want to be as dedicated as them. I want to act in a way. I want to believe in a way that they did, and it works, and sometimes it doesn't, but it's never going to work if you only go in it with the idea of, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to make all this money.
And I think, of course, I think everyone kind of wants that, but like, that should just be a byproduct of like you being passionate about what you're doing. Yeah. That's really what it should be.
Yeah. I feel like that's also kind of like goes hand in hand. It's like, I always want to get better in like every aspect of what I'm doing. And it's like, especially music. So it's like, if that's the leading force for me of getting better, like everything else is going to get better with it too, So
and it'll happen just over time.
Yeah. It's like, so you just keep working at it, and it's a grind, bro.
Yeah,
it's a grind.
Definitely.
It's a fun grind though.
Yeah, exactly. You got to enjoy the journey for sure.
Yeah. That's another thing. That's another reason why people quit.
Yeah, because
they're not really enjoying it. We like this shit. We love the grind.
Yeah, yep. You have to enjoy the journey. Got to enjoy the journey. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. It was great. It was great having you all on. Because I've been seeing your dynamic online for years now, and I've been really wanting to sit down and sort of get an inside look at it.
Yeah, it's the first crew media
right
experience.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. So before we close out, let's go down the line. Start from Reed. We'll go to the left. Tell the people where they catch you online and stuff like that, or if you got any performances coming up and stuff like that. But also what you maybe have coming down the pipe. I know we've talked about it earlier in the show, but just throw a reminder at people of what they can expect.
Yeah, you can follow me at Reed Willy _ Gotta get rid of the underscore. I got the underscore. That's my IG. I don't be doing too much, but follow me on there. You'll get all the music updates. Apple Music, Spotify, all the streaming platforms. I got a show in January. I'm performing with Lon Ray. He's another Atlanta artist. We're gonna be at Smith's Old Bar. I forget the date, but follow me.
Oh, Smith's Old Bar. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And then new single dropping, but Milos Project Saturday. Yeah, and that's all. Yeah. Appreciate you for having us.
Yeah, for sure. Smoke, you got anything?
Yeah, y'all can follow me on Instagram at @1 LilSmoke LilSmoke. That's where you'll find all the updates on me. I don't have any shows or anything dropping as of right now, so
go get Worst Days.
Go get Worst Days. Go watch the video on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
thanks.
Run them numbers up, and appreciate you for having me. And go download Cold Summer.
Yeah, and last but not least, Milos.
A show.
I mean, people already know where you are, but tell them where they can find you and remind them about what's happening Saturday.
So Milos Collins on all social media. MILOS COLLINS. Yeah, I got a new album coming out. It's dropping on Saturday, November 26th. It's called Cold Summer. Yeah, we throwing a party
Hell yeah.
that night, so we'll all see each
Turn
other
up.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that.
then. Turn up.
Yeah, make sure y'all give it a
Music
listen.
is heat.
Yeah, I'll be definitely giving it a listen.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? Thank you all for listening to this episode of the 426 podcast. I hope to see you back here next week. But until then, have a great day.